welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I'm back. I've been on vacation this past week, so my presence here has been kind of sporadic, but that's how it is. But I hope everybody's doing well this evening. So I'll go give my shout outs to everyone here. Kameshwari Kate says here. Oh, this will be good. Looking forward to this one. Good bedtime watching. All right. And Miguel, greetings. I'm getting ready, but I still have to give my husband dinner, says Kameshwari Kate. And let's see here. And Daniel Berry Sports Highlight says, sup. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, we all need prep time, of course. Yep. And Max Sarjay comes on in and greets everyone. And Bella Greasy's here as well. Hi, Willie and friends. And hi, Bella. And Earl. And it's great seeing you here as well. So I hope everybody's doing well this evening. As I said, I've been on vacation, so I've been sort of like all over the place. But tomorrow I will be back at my normal time at 8 p.m. And so I'll have something prepped up for you all. So and all that. So anyway, Democrats. The way it sounds like it just sounds like whatever Democrats do, they just bumble things up and they just can't get anything right. And it's like, it's just like, no matter what they do, they just keep, running into a glass door. And it makes you kind of wonder, and people are leaving the Democratic Party in droves. And now, the thing about that is people get the idea, or there is a conception that, liberalism, leftism, progressivism, it's been defeated, and conservatism won. There's been no leftism. There's been no what people perceive as liberalism. There's been no progressivism. What you had in the last 4 years with Joe Biden was the same old, warmed over Reaganomics that's gotten fused into the Democratic Party. We've come a long way since Roosevelt. And it's like, if you want this, those who want to say return to Roosevelt, that's popular. What is not popular about the Democratic Party is what passed for Democratic Party politics today. No health care, no Green New Deal, no jobs for all programs, no really brave pro-peace foreign policy. And whenever the Democrats do become active, it's usually some kind of authoritarian measure in the name of some kind of goodwill that one of my friends, Dwight Welch, referred to as the nanny state without the actual nanny. And that's what passed for the Democratic Party. That's not appealing to people. And so, as much as MAGA sucks, they were like, who needs this shit? And that's why they go into the go and join a MAGA or go third party. So and that's what I want to talk about right now. The Democratic Party didn't have to be this way. The Democratic Party didn't have to be a joke. It didn't have to be something that people, when you hear people talk about the Democratic Party, it's done with a little bit of a slur like Democrat Party. You hear some of the pundits. I mean, they do it because they can get away with it, and the Democratic Party did earn that disrespect. Democrat Party. Damn Democrats. Democrats. Damn dirty Democrats. Well, I have a problem with Democrats too, but because Democrats do not act like Democrats, it's because Democrats act like Republicans. In the words of Jimmy Dore, I don't oppose Democrats because I support Republicans. I oppose Democrats because they support Republicans. And that's basically what it's been all about. So, as I said, we've gone a long way. We have gone a long way since this man, Roosevelt. Roosevelt came in with the New Deal and got us out of the Great Depression, defeated fascism, and kind of paved way toward what was supposed to be a post-war order where humanity is supposed to move forward. Now, you have historical revisionists. They'll tell you that, FDR, he kept us in the Great Depression. Those policies kept the Depression longer, which is bullshit. Giving people a job is not prolonging the Depression. Giving people a Social Security check is not prolonging the Depression. Making a labor union and labor union organizing legal under the law is not prolonging the Depression. Introducing the minimum wage is not prolonging the Depression. Giving people the 8-hour workday is not prolonging the Depression. If anything, all of these proposals help alleviate us away from the Depression. It helped create a middle-class society or a majoritarian middle-class society that we were on our way to being until neoliberalism reared its ugly head. So this is where we're at right now. So we went from Franklin D. Roosevelt, and who was so successful. He was so successful that he was not just elected once or twice, but 3 times, ready to serve his 4th term. He would have won another term. This is why we had 2 terms for the presidency, which I'm neither here nor there about the 2 terms for the presidency. I would say if we're going to have 2 terms for the presidency, or term limits for the presidency, we ought to have term limits for Congress. We have to have term limits for the Supreme Court. Some states do have term limits for gubernatorialships. So why not when it comes to these other offices, if we can have it for the presidency, the executive. So we went from, it was so successful, his New Deal, that Republican administrations really didn't do too much to upset the apple cart, to disrupt things. Dwight Eisenhower, if you look at the Republican platform in 1956, it could have been as easily uttered by Bernie Sanders today. My point is, and I would tell people back when Obama was president, like, Obama is a socialist. I mean, like, Dwight Eisenhower was a socialist compared to Obama. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm not saying that Dwight Eisenhower was a wonderful president, but I'm just saying, there were things that he did while he was president that would appear socialist today. Kennedy, Johnson, the New Frontier, Great Society. Nixon came in. Michael Moore called him the last liberal president. In many ways, he was as much of a sack of shit that Richard Nixon was. We had OSHA. We had the EPA. We had a Supreme Court that was not hell-bent on stripping civil liberties the way our Supreme Courts today tends to strip at civil liberties. So this is where we're at right now. So even though neoliberalism, a lot of this kind of started during the Nixon years in some ways. Not that I don't know if they wanted to carry it this far, and Carter certainly went through with this, but it went full steam under Ronald Reagan. It went full steam in Britain under Margaret Thatcher. And which brings us to the 1990s, where you had the Bill Clinton presidency, the Bill Clinton years. John Major and Tony Blair sort of occupied the same spot in the UK. A Tory and a Labour prime minister sort of occupied the same spot that Bill Clinton occupied throughout much of the 1990s. And so, and then you had the 2000s with George W. Bush and Tony Blair kind of occupying the same spot in a lot of ways. This brings me to the 1989, when Governor Bill Clinton took over the Democratic Leadership Council, an organization that was hell-bent on basically dismantling the New Deal. And I found out that Koch brothers' money was involved in the Democratic Leadership Council. So the Democratic Leadership Council was getting fundings from the Koch brothers. And this organization basically did a hostile takeover. Remember when Cenk Uygur and Kyle Kulinski founded Justice Democrats, and the purpose of Justice Democrats was to do a hostile takeover to the Democratic Party? Well, and whatever we think of Cenk Uygur, whatever we think of Kyle Kulinski today, many of us were rooting for this hostile takeover to the Democratic Party to push it to the left. Well, Bill and Hillary Clinton were the ones that pushed it hard to the right. They were the force and the catalyst of what I call the hostile takeover of the Democratic Party through the Democratic Leadership Council, the DLC. I remember hearing of the DLC when I was in the College Democrats at ECU, and I was just thinking, what a shitty organization this is. What a shitty organization. Suffice to say, we're in the fix that we're in today because of the DLC. Bernie Sanders was trying to reverse it when he ran in 2016, 2020. Was a failed effort, of course. And, I'm at my wit's ends about independent politics. If I vote, I will continue to vote independently. But I wondering what's the point to get involved with independent politics anymore. I mean, or any type of politics, I would say that if we're going to get anywhere, I agree with what a lot of people are saying. It's not going to be done through the ballot box. It's going to be done on the streets. It's going to be done on foot. Because honestly, if it can be done through a parliamentary process and an electoral process, it would have been done a long time ago. But there you have nefarious forces that they're going to make damn sure that even the best that can get elected under the circumstances will get sold out really quickly. Which, as I said, Bernie tried, and, well, we're disappointed with Bernie today, understandably so. Which brings us through the Joe Biden years. The whole Dark Brandon, remember the whole Dark Brandon?
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pain or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. You are dead.
To all those of you who voted for President Trump, there's no way out.
Yeah, that's what we went through. We went through that for 4 years. And what did it result in? Shit. A goofy meme. That was the best they could come up with. Let's go, Brandon. Oh, well, we got a dark Brandon theme. There you go, Republicans. Thumbs up, whatever, So, just, and, as I said, getting back to the Democratic Leadership Council, people like, there's a lot of people today, as the times have changed and move forward, and people don't remember Democratic Leadership Council. And it's and all of that, but I bring it up. I bring it up all the time. I brought it up on this program yesterday. I watched, and I'll play it.
Sure.
Peter, will you make note of that and reach out?
Esme, can you shoot a quick email over to generationalchange@gmail.com? I'm putting it in the chat right now. If you could shoot us an email,
we'd be happy to.
Absolutely reach out. 100%. Happy to do it.
Yeah, nobody's been more screwed than Haiti. Not in our hemisphere.
Look at what Brett, I would assume Brett can verify this, but there was almost 800,000 people from Haiti stripped of Dominican citizenship. Listen, one of the best courses I took at Rutgers University.
Oh, is that where you went? You went to Rutgers?
Conflict and Change in the Caribbean. You want to talk about...
This applies to what we're talking about here, by the way. Just listen.
The country that has had it the absolute worst. There is no country that has suffered more than Haiti. No. And the racism that exists in the Dominican Republic for the people of Haiti is so thick.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it's huge. There's a serious divide.
There is.
Yeah. Well, the bottom line is we hate Haiti because they had the nerve to revolt. They had the nerve to revolt, and so we are going to punish them for eternity. That's it. That's basically why we hate Haiti.
Willie, thank you so much for the $10. I hate Bill and Hillary Clinton with a harsh passion.
I know you do.
I hate their Democratic Leadership Council for Reaganizing the Democratic Party. The DLC absorbed itself in the Clinton Foundation.
Exactly. So for people who don't know, and the DLC is something that really was one of the original sort of programs of neoliberalism in this country. So the DLC is really what formulated that was the cohesion of the neoliberal school of thought and its cronies. And we have been suffering the economic consequences of that neoliberal mentality since Reagan.
As a side note, guys, if you are not currently subscribed to the Willie Bragg Show, make sure you get over to his channel and hit that subscribe and like button, please.
Anyway, you heard Peter. Go ahead and subscribe to the Willie Bragg Show if you haven't yet. So there we go. But basically, it is this. The DLC did that kind of damage, and the DLC. The absorbed itself into the Clinton Foundation, and we know the damage that the Clinton Foundation have done. They and not just damage, the evil around the world, the so-called humanitarian shit that the Clinton Foundation was doing. Basically, they were just hoarding money in their pocket and everything. Well, the DLC is part of it because it's part of the Clinton Foundation. That's my point right there. And the thing about it is that it's the Democratic Party isn't worth saving, because and I get more and more convinced all the time. I mean, like recently the election of this guy, David Hogg, what is he? The vice chair of the Democratic National Committee. This guy's like a really dorky Jackson Hinkle meets Harry Simpson or something. I don't know. Anyway, this motherfucker here, is the poster child of as to why the Democratic Party will continue to lose elections. Now, here's the thing. I urge people, whether you're normie Democrats or you're leftists, to don't emphasize on the gun culture because or on guns because that's just going to do you more harm in the long run, and it's so damn easy for the right wing, unfortunately, to sit there and turn the tables and try to smear people, and also, and this is what the Democrats do. You had Beto O'Rourke in 2019 in the primaries said, "I'm going to take away your AR-15." Oh, that really went well, didn't it? That really went well when he ran for governor. You're going to sit there and do that, but you're not going to go and support Medicare for all, because supporting Medicare for all is too controversial. You may be called a socialist for, I don't know, making sure everybody's covered healthcare wise is what normal countries do. But you're going to go and polarize people by saying, "I'm going to take away your guns." That's how the Democrats do this. They don't have any common sense. The Democratic Party's done for. It's done for. The Republican Party is supposed to be on the dust heap of history. It's supposed to be irrelevant. In 2008, the Republican Party was supposed to be a Southern regional party. That's what a lot of people thought at the time. I thought that too at the time. But the Republican Party managed to make a resurgence. And, and here's the thing. It didn't have to be this way. It didn't have to be this way. So where do we all go from here? We know the Democratic Party is not the answer. It is not the answer. Sure, I look in Congress to see what people are up to. And, if there's a positive legislation in Congress, I don't care who's proposing it. If there's which party's proposing it, like, Build Back Better was a decent piece of legislation. It got unfortunately pissed away because the Democrats allowed it to get pissed away. They allow Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema to do the dirty work. And the Democrats thought, they treated Sinema and they treated Manchin better than they treated, the squad and Bernie Sanders. Now, I'm not saying that Bernie squad and Bernie Sanders are wonderful people. I'm just saying we're talking about perception. And this is where we're at. So what do? We can either just sit there and just repeat the same shit over and over again, expecting to repeat the same thing over and over again. That's what insanity is. Repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. The Democratic Party is Lucy from the Peanuts cartoon. And Charlie Brown would be people like us. And what happens every time we try to go and work with the Democrats? Should we just take that football and move it just enough in time? And what happens? We fall on our backs because we're trying to kick the football, and we can never kick that damn football. So that's where we're at. What am I having? David Hogg's face here still. So we need to either focus on third parties or focus on street action, but we can't focus on the Democratic Party anymore. We just can't. And I'm not a fundamentalist about this. I will tell people what I think when it comes to independent political action. What I won't do is I won't endlessly berate the way some others would. But I do know that the Democratic Party is a fucking dead end. It is a fucking dead end. And even when Biden won in 2020, I had just maybe a little bit of slim hope that there would be a minimum wage increase, and maybe some of that Bernie influence would seep in. It didn't happen. No such a thing happened. So we're at a wit's end at this point. And after the 2024 election, what happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. Well, we had Kamala Harris, and I think this is what she said. Give me a second here.
It's not over. That fight's still in us, and it burns strong.
Yeah.
And I know this is an uncertain time. I'm clear-eyed about that. I know you're clear-eyed about it. And it feels heavy. And I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you. That's not over. That fight's still in us, and it burns strong. And I know this is an uncertain time.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, that was a 45-second video. That was kind of on a repeat loop. But yeah, that was her getting slogged away. Just drinking up away and drowning her sorrows. I mean, and on that one, I guess I wouldn't blame her because, you're running for a president, you get defeated, you're not going to be happy about it. Maybe there's a little bit of empathy there in that regard, but look, she bumped fists with Dick and Liz Cheney. I can have so much pity for such bullshit, That was a spit in our eye right there. So, empathy can go, but just so far. My point is, the Democratic Party's over. I don't see a future with the Democratic Party. And I don't think that things are going to go 100% well with Donald Trump's presidency. I think that this Project 25 bullshit is going to have some repercussions. And honestly, there should be righteous outrage over this. I don't see enough of it. But people haven't felt the effects yet. And when they do, they're going to start protesting. And we need to be there to be there for them, and we need to be there to tell them the right thing to do. I think that Kshama Sawant's worker strike back is probably the best path forward, because she's not emphasizing electoral politics, and I think that's the way to go forward. You can almost say they're kind of like the IWW of today in many ways. So that's what I have to say. Just food for thought. Sharing that with y'all tonight. And I have to go and get some sleep very soon. But I just wanted to kind of talk about this, and hopefully this little chat here, we can take it from here, and it'll develop into something more. And I want to do something more. I mean, I want to continue to talk here online, and I try to help out in any activist projects whenever it's possible, but I like to do more. And so that's where we're at right now. So anyway, I'll go ahead and talk to everyone here, and I'll get my beauty sleep, which I'm 9 or 10 or 11 decades behind. So okay, where are we at? We were at over here. Okay, all right. I saw Warren. I saw Warren here. I saw Earl. Rick Solis, how are you doing today? We have here. Yeah, well, we saw the death of liberalism, but the liberalism that exists today is really conservatism. So, scratch a liberal today, you'll find a conservative. That's kind of where I stand on that. And howdy, Warren. Great seeing you here. You want Reagan or Diet Reagan? I'm gonna have to remember that. We had Diet Reagan. I like what Jay Buffont says about Biden and Trump. He called Trump Orange Joe Biden. I thought that was pretty funny this past summer. Okay. Desert Mantis, how are you doing today? Where would Politico be without the Democratic Party? Well, Politico will have to be elsewhere. Maybe it could be the Green Party. I certainly understand the sentiment about Bernie Sanders being a sack of shit, and I would just say that Bernie Sanders will never get another dime from me again. I will go that far. But there's just so much he can do. He's going to retire in a few years. He's not exactly, a spring chicken. And we have here any newbies online here. I don't see any. I don't see anybody else. Do I see anybody else here? I want to be fair and cover everyone. And well, I would say Dem Exit. Yep, Dem Exit is what we got to. Dem Exit is what we have to emphasize that. A friend of mine who's been on this show said that recently on Facebook. There's nothing to lose with a Dem Exit. We've been on the losing end, relying on the Democratic Party for years. And I know people that walked away from the Democratic Party years ago and they crept their way back in because it's easier in a lot of ways. But it may be easier to work within an institution. But what good is working within an institution that will not listen to you? That's the problem with the Democratic Party. They will not listen. They will not listen. So, I've always been a soft accelerationist, I guess you could say, and I will continue on that path. So, yeah, I'm going to rest up. Thank you, Desert Mantis. So, anyway, I'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, of course. If you like what you heard, please press like and comment. Comment any way you disagree with what I have to say. Feel free to share the comments on this content on this channel. As the First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to create your own platform and utilize it because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Reject corporate media. Subscribe to the Willie Bragg Show on all my platforms. And free and pardon Ed Snowden, free Palestine, free healthcare for all, preserve absolute freedom of speech for our own self-preservation, and of course, fuck Elon Musk. Y'all take care. I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye-bye.